muggy night in Atlanta. It is time for Braves baseball and a big crowd gathering at Turner Field for Sunday Braves. This evening, Atlanta tries to avoid a 3-game sweep at the hands of the suddenly resurgent Philadelphia Phillies. Sunday Braves on Fox Sports South is brought to you by your Atlanta Hyundai dealers. Make every Sunday a Hyundai Sunday on Fox Sports South. And hi again, friends. Joe and Chip back with you at Turner Field. Welcome back to the ballpark where the Braves hope to break through against the Phillies. But alas, Joe, a left-hander is on the mound for Philadelphia, and that has recently spelled big trouble for this Atlanta ball club.
Well, you got the big three from the Phillies for this series, and then it's capped off today by Cole Hamels. So back-to-back games against good left-handers in Cliff Lee and Cole Hamels. The Braves have got to figure out something because their record against left-handed starters, while not awful, is just not good. It's got to get better. And since the All-Star break, the batting average and on-base percentage against left-handers has really fallen off. The guys are going to have to pick up the pace. The Braves have scored 1 run or fewer 22 times, and 8 of those have come against lefties.
Quite obviously, Freddie Gonzalez said after the game last night he's very concerned about the Braves' offense and especially the right-handers against opposing left-handed pitching.
You'd think that they're the guys that kind of have to pick up the pace. You know that the lefties are going to scuffle with them at times, whether it's Freddie Freeman or Brian McCann or Jason Hayward. But when we started looking at some of the right-handed hitters, especially since the All-Star break, there's been a fall-off, except for one guy, and that's Chipper Jones. So look at the comparison, first half averages against lefties and second half averages. And even Martin Prado, who tore up lefties at the beginning of the year, has fallen off quite a bit. Likewise, Dan Ugla. And David Ross, I mean, it's a small sample because David's not in there every day, but he's been in there a lot against lefties, and his numbers have scuffled. So the right-handers, if they can help out a little bit today, would, I know, make the left-handed hitters feel a little better.
Well, the Braves are going to send a left-hander at the Phillies, and hopefully Paul Maholm can neutralize Chase Utley and Ryan Howard for this Philadelphia ball club. Braves need a win. They need a win big time. They try to avoid a sweep, and we will have our first pitch and our lineups from Turner Field before a big crowd tonight right after this. A few moments ago, a rain shower passed across the ballpark, but the sky's beginning to clear. Shadows lengthening along the third base line as we get set for Game 3 of this series. The Phillies trying to sweep the Atlanta Ball Club here at Turner Field. Here's how Charlie Manuel lines them up. Jimmy Rollins, Kevin Franzen, and Chase Utley 1, 2, and 3. Ryan Howard, Ty Wigginton, and John Mayberry, who's had a very big series. Eric Kratz had a big hit on Friday night. Michael Martinez is in right, and Braves nemesis Cole Hamels pitches and bats ninth.
Paul Maholm, 30 years old, 6'2", 220 on the mound. It was 26th start. He does have a complete game and a shutout to his credit this year. And against the National League East, he's been a bear. 5-1 in 7 games, only 6 walks, a lot of strikeouts in those 7 games, and just a 1.42 ERA.
Jimmy Rollins right on top of the plate from the right side and takes inside for ball 1.
His 4 keys to pitching success today. Come on, Shadows. Late start today for a Sunday game, a 5:05 start, so he welcomes the shadows to make it harder on the hitters. And all quiet on the Eastern front is right. I mean, those numbers against the East, he's been outstanding, and he beat the Phillies earlier this year.
And Rollins now ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Disappointing year at the plate for Rollins, hitting just .246, but swinging the bat much better in the last 2 weeks. That caught a corner, 2 balls and a strike.
Boy, since that cloud passed and the sun came out, it got real steamy.
And a line drive to right field. A leadoff single for Jimmy Rollins. So he's 3 hits away from 2,000 now in the big leagues. A hot hitter and a hot afternoon in Atlanta. And as Joe mentioned, it is humid.
65% humidity. That may have gone up just in the last 5 minutes. A little breeze blowing out toward right.
Here's Kevin Franzen. He's had a good series and sports a 4-game hit streak.
Real good numbers since he came to the Phillies, as you see by his batting average over .350.
Placido Polanco the last several years has been the Phillies' everyday third baseman, but might be open audition time for Franzen to claim that job going into next season for Philadelphia. Paul just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Paul started against the Phillies way back in April, the end of April. 6 1/3 innings, 5 hits, just 1 run allowed to the Phillies, no walks, and 1 strikeout. So they were putting it in play and hitting it at people for him, which is part of what he does.
Well, we showed you in the open, pardon me, Joe, about how the Braves have struggled against lefties. The Phillies are 18-23 against left-handed starters this year. And as a team, they're hitting .237. So similar problems offensively that the Braves have.
Sinker, slider, cutter, changeup for Paul Maholm. Fastball that he saves at 4-seamer sometimes up around 88.
Good lead by Rollins at first. And that's a little low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, the pitch before it looked like a good strike, and it was called a ball, and that one must have been low. Sherwin-Williams painting the corners on our Fox tracks. Caught the bottom line.
Ed Hickox thought it was too low. And again, Rollins chased back to first. Franzen bloops one down the right field line. That's headed for foul ground and the seats. So the count stays 2-2. Here's how the Braves defense shapes up for game 3 of the series. Reed Johnson's in left field. That moves Martin Prado to second base. And David Ross gets the start behind the plate. High hopper hit towards second. Backhand flip to Giannis, and the throw to first not in time. Rollins forced out. Franzen at first, one away.
Nice play by Martin there. Got the lead runner and then gave Giannis a chance to turn the double play. Just slow developing bouncer to Martin. And a real close play anyway at first base. Braves need to do their best to get on top early today. Don't fall behind and have to try to fight from behind against Cole Hamels. Get a lead and try to hang on to that, because you know the way he's been pitching lately, runs are going to be tough to come by. So don't fall behind early.
Chase Utley hits with a man aboard and takes a quick strike. Injury-plagued season for Utley. Chronic knee problems kept him out of the bulk of the season for the Phillies. Tonight's only Chase's 43rd game. Third game against a left-handed starter. That is his 55th game overall for the Phillies, and a .247 average. Short lead at first by Franzen. And a slow curve taken for a strike.
That's a beauty. Buckled his knees a little bit. Chase, another guy for the Phillies, stands right up on top of the plate. 3 different seasons, 2007, 8, and 9. He led the league in getting hit by pitches. Over 24 each year. That's a lot. That's a lot of plunkings.
What if Chase's favorite players are Craig Biggio and Don Baylor?
Could be.
Didn't get the outside corner. Full count.
A little wide.
Let's see if Franzen takes off with a full count pitch. That is a fair ball off Freeman's glove and down the right field line. Franzen around second, on his way to third. Utley in at second with 1 out.
It's only the 6th hit against Atlanta this year for Chase Utley. He had been 5 for 43 against the Braves before this hit. Tough chance for Freddie to come up with right at the bag. So Mahalam will have to pitch around runners in scoring position to Howard and a guy Wigginton who has hit him pretty good.
So an RBI chance for Howard. Ryan's knocked in 34 this season. Braves have a shift on, and Howard out in front, strike 1.
Well, he really likes that first pitch with runners on base. Ready for a first pitch fastball to jump on the pitcher with runners that he can drive in.
Howard, another left-handed hitter, having trouble with left-handed pitching this season. He's down 2 strikes. He's hitting .200 against lefties this year with only 8 RBIs. Stays alive, still 0-2.
If you work him away, you've got to put it somewhere like a breaking ball like that where you can't reach it, but he might chase it, or tie him up with a fastball up and in.
Fly ball hit high, deep toward left field. Reed Johnson going back. It's off the fence. 2 runs are going to score. Ryan Howard doubles on an 0-2 pitch, and the Phillies lead 2-0.
If you throw him a fastball up and in, the one danger you have with a runner at third base is that he might bloop one in, and he might bloop one in and drive in 2 runs because he's strong enough to do it. But again, if you throw him away, you got to throw it where he can't reach it and extend those arms, because he's so powerful to the opposite field. He thought he hit it out. And it was a homer at Citizens Bank Park, but not here.
So the Braves down 2-0 in the first, and Ty Wigginton the hitter. As Joe mentioned, Wigginton a tough man for Mahalam to face. Ty is 6 for 13 with a homer lifetime.
First runs Mahalam has allowed as a Brave that didn't come by way of a homer.
Low and outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Already 23 pitches for Mahalam, only 1 out. And Wigginton walks on 4 pitches. And Roger McDowell a quick first inning visit.
In his last start against the Padres, Mahalam got beat 3-0. He gave up 2 of the runs on a homer in the 2nd inning. So ran into trouble there. Actually gave up a walk and 2 hits in that 2nd inning. And today off to a slow start here with, as you said, Chip, a lot of pitches.
John Mayberry's the batter. He's the subject of our SunTrust solid performance.
4 homers, 13 RBIs in 14 games, and a good series here, 3 for 8 with a big 3-run homer Friday night.
Strike 1 to Mayberry.
By the way, found out the walk that he drew from Mike Minor in that game was the first walk he had drawn from a left-handed pitcher this year.
That's in roughly 135 at bats. One ball, 1 strike. Paul could use a ground ball. 3 balls and a strike.
In that game at Philadelphia, the last time the Braves saw Cole Hamels, Ryan Howard hit a 3-run homer in the first in that game, and that was the score of the game as Hamels went the distance and won it 3-0.
Line drive, shallow right. Hayward's coming on. He'll have to play it on a hop, and everybody's safe. And for the Braves, it's a little deja vu. This is the way they pecked away at Tim Hudson in yesterday's ball game. And now Mahalam has the bases full of Phillies, still 1 out, and Eric Kratz, the catcher, coming up.
Got to stop the bleeding right here. Get a ground ball. Only 1 ground ball so far, and that was from Franson on the slow tapper to Prado. And we know this guy can hit a fastball.
We saw that Friday night. He took Craig Kimbrell out on a 2-strike pitch. And ball 1 to the big Philly catcher.
Early activity for the Braves bullpen.
Swing and a miss. It's September now. There's precious little time left. You don't want the Phillies and Cole Hamels to jump out any more than 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, now that he's gotten ahead, here's where he's got to make good enough pitches to make Kratz expand his strike zone and hope that he can get him to hit a ground ball, but not run the count up to a full count by missing.
Now David Ross wants to make sure he and Mahalam have the same sign and the same thought. You know, Paul can get the ball on the ground. They would love to get the catcher to do so here. Line down the right field line on a 1-2 count. That's headed for the corner. 2-run score. Mayberry's getting green lighted. Relay throw to the plate is going to be late. It's a bases clearing double for Kratz, and it's 5-0.
He just stuck his bat out there, but it was up. It was a pitch that was up so that even though he was fooled by the pitch being elevated, he could get a piece of it. And with the long legs of John Mayberry at first base, he circles the bases. Jason did a good job of keeping it from getting all the way into the corner, and I thought they had a shot at Mayberry, but he had his long legs in there.
So the Phillies have 2 2-strike doubles in this first inning. One by Howard that chased home 2. Eric Kratz on a 1-2 count doubles home 3. And the Braves are down 5-0. Michael Martinez, the hitter, down 2 strikes.
When you're struggling to score runs like the Braves offense is right now, this is kind of the worst case scenario. Like I said, you don't want to fall behind early today.
Still only 1 out. And 2-2. Neither neither Dan Uggla nor Brian McCann in tonight's starting lineup for the Atlanta club. And a fly ball down the right field line. Jason Hayward near the stands will reach up. He'll make the catch. There's out number 2. Jason over amongst the fans reached up and grabbed it. That's a big lift for Mahalam. For Cole Hamels is in the batter's box.
Nice play right on the wall. To find a start for Paul Mahalam where he didn't pitch at least 6 innings, you have to go all the way back to June 23rd at Arizona when he lasted only 3 1/3. He has pitched at least 6 innings in every start since then.
Cole Hamels can swing the bat. Be careful here with 2 outs. On 2. 41st inning pitches. Mahalam got to 2 strikes several times, but hasn't been able to finish off a Philly hitter. And he does, Cole Hamels. But the Phillies bat around in the opening inning. 5 runs on 5 hits, 2 big 2-strike extra base hits, and Cole Hamels has a gigantic early lead. For 5 runs. Let's see if Atlanta can answer against Cole Hamels, the 14-game winner for the Phillies. Michael Bourne, Martin Prado, Chipper Jones moves up to the 3rd spot. No Brian McCann, no Dan Uggla as the Braves try to avoid a 3-game sweep today.
Cole Hamels has been really pitching really well. His last 4 starts, 3-0 with a 1.71 ERA and 2 complete game shutouts, one of those against Atlanta.
See if Michael Bourne can spark the offense. It's been a rough couple of weeks for the Atlanta leadoff hitter. He's averaged down to 283 for the season. 1 ball, 1 strike. Past Franzen down the left field line. There's a good start. And Michael Bourne's aboard with a leadoff hit.
And as much as he wanted to go to second base, he knew better than to run the risk since he's gotten the inning started in a good way here. Goes the other way with that pitch away and slices it right by Franzen. So maybe the Braves can peck away at that lead right here. His 4 keys to pitching success today, he's just been given 5 runs. Number 1, don't mess it up. And number 2, rawhide. Rolling, rolling, rolling. He has been on a roll with the way he's been pitching after that lousy start against the Braves in late July, where they really touched him up, but he walked 6 that day.
A strike to Martin Prado. This is one of the guys that, again, that we touched on in our opening comments. Right-handed bat who swung the bat well against left-handed pitching this year. This would be a great time for Prado to have a good game for Atlanta offensively. Freddie Gonzalez shuffles his lineup. He adds David Ross. He adds Reed Johnson.
Already Cole Hamels complaining to Ed Hickox about his strike zone.
Bourne's running and got a great jump. No chance for Kratz. Bourne steals second, standing up.
Love it. I love it. You know, just because you're down 5 doesn't mean you got to pull in all your horns here and not be aggressive. Even if the Braves only wind up with 1 run this inning, that's a step in the right direction.
Upstairs to Prado. 3 balls and a strike. Chippers are Delta Airlines on deck batter. He hits Hamels well. See if Atlanta can answer with a big inning. Good hitters count. 3 balls and a strike.
Yesterday, Cliff Lee did a good job when he was behind in the count, when he had bases open, elevating his fastball, and the Braves unable to lay off that 3-1 fastball that was up out of the zone. Martin just did the same thing. That game here on July 27th, Hamels got beat 6-1. He only went 5 innings and he only gave up 4 hits, but again, he walked 6 and gave up 5 runs. 3 were earned, and then turned around the next time he faced the Braves and threw a 5-hit shutout. No walks, 6 strikeouts.
That's lined to first, and that's the first out of the inning. I believe that was the first game won here in Atlanta after Hamels signed his new contract. Looks much better up in Philadelphia. And today, Joe, he's pitching for the first time since he missed a start, coming back from that gastrointestinal illness that sidelined him for a couple of days.
Yeah, I think that was last Wednesday. It was his last scheduled start that he missed.
It's a hot, sticky day. Wouldn't be bad to see him throw a bunch of early pitches and see what happens. Strike Chipper.
The Braves' numbers with runners in scoring position has been abysmal lately, but it's things like what just happened that don't go on the scorebook and you don't keep track of, like Martin hitting a line drive to the right side, but it doesn't get the runner over because he hit it right at Ryan Howard.
Franzen at third, looks the runner back. Low throw, and Howard can't come up. Bourne is at third, he'll get stopped. Chipper to second base. A lazy throw by Franzen turns to Atlanta gold. Second and third with 1 out.
When you're down 5-zip, you'll take all the help you can get. Just a routine play. Set his feet. And then threw a 1-hopper over there. Hey, they're within 8 games of the wild card. They're getting a little tight, I'd say.
So instead of a runner at second, 2 outs, it's set up nicely for Freddie Freeman. Second and third with 1 man down.
What a huge break that was.
And to your point about runners in scoring position, in this series, the Braves are 1 for 13. That 1 hit didn't even score a run. That was the play where Chipper Jones collided with Kratz at home plate.
Including today, Braves numbers the last 15 games, $139. That will not get it done this month. They've got to come up with some clutch hitting.
Freddie missed a breaking ball. It's 2-2.
I asked Freddie before the game about the shadows and what part of the shadows gave him the most trouble, and he said it's actually the glare off the batter's eye that gives him the most trouble. But the sun's not gleaming right now. It's about to. It looks like it's coming out again. Steve Angel again. One hopper off his hand. Hope he'll be able to focus. But it's that batter's eye straightaway center that when the sun's shining on it, when the sun gets a little lower, that Freddie says makes it very tough to see the ball.
Full count.
Good job by Freddie there. Cole Hamels' best pitch is his fastball when he cuts it, but his next best pitch, and maybe his best pitch, is his changeup, and he has so much confidence in it. He threw it right there, 3-2.
Another foul ball. Freeman right on that pitch.
Comes back and fouls off a 94 fastball.
Ninth pitch of the at bat, and the sun is indeed out. Shadows all across the infield, but bright sunshine where the batter's eye is. And Freeman's down swinging. 2 outs, runners second and third. Here's David Ross.
As we get deeper into this month and things begin to tighten up as the Braves are trying to get into one of the postseason spots, it's at bats like that that become so crucial. You don't have to have a base hit, but you do need to put the ball in play. The infield's back. They got a 5-run lead. They'll concede a ground ball run for an out. And at the very least, you've got to put the ball in play or hit a sacrifice fly, something of that nature.
So David Ross with 2 on, 2 out.
David grabbing at that side a little bit again. Remember we saw that in San Diego?
Yep.
I believe this is his first action since then. He hit a home run his last time up in San Diego to right field, but grabbed at his side some.
Hamels way in front, no balls, 2 strikes. The Braves had a golden chance to pick up a run, and Cole Hamels pitched around his third baseman's error. He strands 2. Braves leads 5-0 after 1. Colleague Tom Hart. Tommy?
All right, thanks, fellas. You know, Chipper this morning had some very pointed words when talking with the media. He said, we have some guys in our lineup that get paid to hit that aren't swinging the bats. And he continued, this is forcing Freddie to juggle the lineup and get others in there that normally wouldn't be. Guys, he added, good hitting is contagious, but so is bad hitting. And once guys get into bad habits, they develop a confidence problem at the plate. You could have my mom out there. She'd probably get some guys out. I do not know yet if Lynn Jones is a lefty. Chip?
Thank you, Tom. Jimmy Rollins leads off for the second time in as many innings tonight.
But he's right. He's exactly right. And we saw this last year because the Braves are putting so much pressure on themselves late. That makes it even harder, Tom. I mean, when things are kind of rolling the wrong way, you start trying to do too much. And as in the case with Freddie Freeman, he's trying to drive in both those runs in the first inning, but really all he needed to do was take a little off his swing, and a ground ball gets one of them in.
Yeah, you can make outs, but make them productive outs.
Yeah, and it's easier said than done. That's Cole Hamels pitching. It's not easy. He's not going to cooperate. He's trying hard not to cooperate. But there are things you can do as a hitter to try to make it a little easier, and that's cut down on your swing if you need to.
And that's a main culprit in this run of frustration over the last 15 games for the Braves. They're 15 for the last 110 now with runners in scoring position and 31 strikeouts among those 95 outs. So Mahalam has to, I guess, put that first inning behind him and hold him right there for as long as he can, with Rollins, Franson, and Utley up in the second inning. 5-0 Philadelphia, the early lead. And 2-2 to Rollins. That's down the right field line and again out of play. As I mentioned earlier, it's been a disappointing year overall for Rollins, but lately he's been a hot Philly hitter on our Georgia Lottery jackpot. Another 3-ball count.
Think how hot he'd be if he'd gotten another at bat the other day instead of being pulled for not hustling.
Well, he might have been hot then too, but his manager was a little hotter. Rollins apologized to Charlie Manuel at the start of this series and is apparently back in good graces. And he's back on base. A leadoff walk.
Yeah, I said to Charlie Friday night, I said, man, you're awfully mean. He goes, yeah, and I'm about to get meaner.
Well, one of their goals is to finish above 500. Phillies come in 5 games under, but as you have said, as we joked on Friday, it's pretty much the opening bell of the season. There's a lot of time left. You can't count this Phillies club out. They are 8 back in the wild card, the second wild card, and at the moment 7.5 back because St. Louis lost in Washington today.
It's a tough loss for Atlanta Friday night. Had a 1-run lead in the 9th and Kimbrel out there. That's one you already have chalked up in the win column, and it didn't happen, so it makes it imperative to try and win today, make up for it. But anytime they can run their big 3 at you, they've got a chance.
Look out. Lined over the Braves dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike for Kevin Franson.
I saw their GM, Ruben Amaro, in the press room earlier before the game, and I went up to him and I jokingly said, I got a bone to pick with you. And he said, what's that? And I said, well, you come to town and the Braves see Halladay, Lee, and Hamels. You go to Cincinnati tomorrow and you're pitching someone named Tyler Cloyd.
Yes.
He said yes, and then he'll be dealing. But that's kind of the luck of the draw right now for Atlanta. No breaks anywhere.
Well, you hope the same thing happens. when the Phillies play the Nationals, and they play them a lot in September. Foul back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, the Braves bullpen begins to work.
Martinez again.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Martin glove flip to Giannis. Somehow he corralled it with a bare hand. What a play by Giannis. And Franzen went tumbling down the first baseline. Let's see if he's all right. He's safe with 1 out.
Terrific play, first of all, by Martin. Just the glove flip, got hung up in his web a little bit, but a good recovery to save him from Paul Giannis. And then watching Franzen go by the bag, he was limping after he crossed first. But he had a shin guard on his left ankle for some reason. Polanco, as you know, has been reinstated to the active roster, but he's got a bad back.
So let's see if Franzen's going to remain in the game. Apparently, he's going to. Let's check in again with Tom Hart.
Well, guys, you were just talking about the tough pitchers the Braves have faced and will face. They will catch a break, however. Davey Johnson made the announcement today before the Nationals game that Steven Strasburg will have 2 starts remaining, which, weather allowing, would push his last start to September 12th in New York. The series with the Braves will start 2 days later on September 14th. If they follow through with that plan and stay on time, the Braves would avoid Steven Strasburg in that final series with the Nats.
And Steven pitched today for the Washington Ball Club, I believe.
He did indeed. Nats and the Cardinals had a close game going late.
Strike 1 to Chase Utley. Another long inning for Paul Maholm. His first inning, 41 pitches in nearly 20 minutes. It seems, Joe, that side of the plate, Paul hasn't been able to dial anything in quite yet.
His command's a little off from what we're accustomed to seeing. A little bit of a tight strike zone, too, from Ed Hickox.
Freeman at first, nice pick. And nobody got to the first base bag to cover. And Utley is safely aboard with 2 outs.
Maholm became a spectator. Anything hit to the right side, natural reaction as a pitcher should be to get over there and cover, but he's just watching. And Freddie Freeman had come off the bag quite a bit to make this play. So he didn't have room or time, rather, to get back. And Maholm took responsibility for it, but just had a vapor lock there.
And now has to face Ryan Howard, who doubled against him and drove home 2 runs. Line drive off Maholm's glove on the deflection. Giannis stays with it, makes the play to first. Wow, that ball was crushed. And Maholm fortunate to escape the second inning unhurt and unscored upon. Wow. 1-6-3 the official scoring on the play, and we head to the bottom of the second, down 5-0. second. Reed Johnson, Paul Janisch to follow against Cole Hamels, who's been staked to a 5-run lead. First pitch and a rocket to center. Mayberry going back. It's off the base of the wall. And a leadoff double for Jason Hayward.
In our opening comments, we were talking about the right-handers and their struggles in the second half here against left-handed starting pitching. And actually, after looking at the left-handed hitters, there are a couple of guys since the All-Star break whose numbers have gone up. Jason's one of them, and likewise Freddie Freeman. That was a laser.
So Hamels immediately back in the stretch for Reed Johnson. And he's straightened up with a fastball. 1 ball, no strikes.
In that shutout against the Braves in Philadelphia on August 7th. I'm not sure I've seen Cole Hamels pitch better. He faced the minimum through 6 innings. He gave up a hit and a walk, or 2 hits rather, but they were raced in a double play and an outfield assist when Brian McCann tried to stretch a hit into a double. And in fact, in that complete game effort, he only faced 2 men over the minimum all night.
I don't know if it's fair to say this or not, but on his club with Cliff Lee and Roy Halladay, there's some who might say those 2 names overshadow Cole Hamels. But you look at his numbers this year and where he ranks, he's one of the best pitchers in the National League. He's going for a career-high time 15th win today. He's in the top 10 in wins, strikeouts, and ERA.
Well, there's one area they don't overshadow him, and that's because of his new deal on an average of $24 million, second only to CC Sabathia in all of baseball, and right in there with Cliff Lee and poor old Roy Halladay all the way down to $20 million.
Yeah, $20 million, you can't even get in the top 5 anymore.
Can't get on the list.
But that speaks quite obviously to what Cole Hamels is doing now and what they think he'll do down the road. I mean, he's entering his prime years for the Phillies, and he's already had several great ones. Full count for Reed Johnson. And a high fly ball hammered right center. Martinez on the run at the fence, slams into the wall, the ball drops. Hayward around third, they're going to wave him. Double clutch in the throw to the plate late. The Braves are on the board. It's a 5-1 game.
Good at bat by Reed Johnson. Fouled off a couple of tough pitches and then almost hit one out. Got a high fastball and leveled off on it. And then a couple of things that work here. Michael Martinez battling the sun, and also he's an infielder. He's been forced to play a little outfield, so he doesn't check the wall and face plants right into the S on State Farm. Did check once, but quickly ran out of room. And Jason was going to advance, so now he has to hustle, and Chase Utley double clutch, double pumped, and that gave Jason enough time to get around.
So that's the first hit in this series for the Braves with a runner in scoring position that scored a run. And the first career hit for Reed Johnson against Cole Hamels makes it a 5-1 game now. It's still nobody out. Two balls and a strike.
I know the pitcher's on deck, but you still want to get that runner over to third base with nobody out. It gives you some options where Mahalam could squeeze the runner in if need be, and you never know, the Phillies might play back.
And he will. Backhanded stop by Utley, and the throw to first in time. Good at bat by Giannis. Productive out. Let's see what Mahalam can do with one away.
We'll check and see how they line up their defense for the pitcher.
Game Connect has Braves Country talking. You can get it on the full Braves game experience right now. Track live stats as they happen and join the conversation for the biggest moments of the game. It's all on Game Connect on FoxSportsSouth.com.
And they are going to play in and not give up a run here if they can help it. Mahalam's got a homer this year. He's driven in 3 runs.
Two. And Paul's down swinging. That's the second out. Michael Bourne, the batter. The Phillies infield defense with 2 outs can position itself normally.
Drag bunt not out of the question here. The Phillies know that. Right side of the infield drawn in. Although Utley backs up a step or two now.
Not be a bad idea with Hamels follow through carrying him toward the third base line. Howard with the Achilles injury. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ground ball right side. Utley, what a play, what a throw. He took away a hit and an RBI from Michael Bourne. Atlanta, those strikes for its first run of the ball game. Back-to-back doubles start the second. Jason Hayward comes home to make it a 5-1 Phillies game.
Yeah, that's it so far. Two big hits really in the inning that produced them. First one by Ryan Howard on an 0-2 count. Cutter or maybe just a flat slider off the wall, plated 2 runs, and then with the bases loaded on an 0-2 pitch, you heard the sound of the bat. Kratz just stuck his bat out there to try to guard the plate and wound up with a bases clearing double. That's how they got their 5.
So Ty Wigginton leads off the third for the Phillies. Braves got back-to-back doubles in the second inning to score their first run. And Wigginton walked and scored his first time up. It's been interesting, too, to watch this Phillies ball club in that, as you mentioned, they're only 7.5 out of that final wild card spot. This has come after they've lost Joe Blanton. They've lost Shane Victorino. They've traded away Hunter Pence. And Charlie Manuel was asked about that in the Philly papers today. He said sometimes you can make changes and guys start playing better. It's nothing against the people you trade away, but it opens the doors for somebody else to get on the field and get a chance. Wigginton's one of those guys.
Well, they've won 10 of their last 14 ball games, and they're averaging right at 5 runs a game over that stretch. And with their pitching, that ERA at 2.98, that's going to win some ball games. Their ERA since the All-Star break as a staff is second only to Washington, a little under 3.5. But Franson, Kratz, Mayberry, all really contributing heavily to what they're doing right now offensively.
And Kratz because Carlos Ruiz has been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And he was an all-star for the Phillies behind the plate. And a full count. Boy, a lot of 3-ball counts from both pitchers.
Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. No corners being given by Ed Hickox.
And another walk. Mahalam's walked 3 men. He's had 5 3-ball counts, and he's again back in the stretch. The Braves are excited to bring OAR to Turner Field for a free post-game concert after the Saturday, September 15th game against the Nationals. Visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000.
Christian Martinez begins his 3rd inning of work in the Braves bullpen. But it's a pretty obvious fact that you cannot give the Phillies any more runs if you expect to catch up against Hamels.
Pop fly foul, strike 1 to John Mayberry. Phillies got Mayberry from the Texas Rangers after the 2008 season. He was a first-round pick of Texas back in 2005. John played his college ball at Stanford. Made the opening day roster for the Phillies in 2011. First time he ever made an opening day roster in his professional career.
We just saw Carlos Quentin out in San Diego. He went to Stanford. Might be about the same age. They might have been teammates.
Hot smash. That's past Chipper and down the left field line. Wigginton around second is on his way to third, and the Phillies have 2 more in scoring position with nobody out. That's a double.
Couldn't bury it on his back foot. Coming back to a left-handed hitter, or right-handed hitter rather. Smokes it. Chipper doesn't have time to get his glove down. It is a hit.
And it's also the end of the line for Paul Mahalam. A long look in And it hit Cox. Mahalam thought he had a very tight strike zone. 5-1 Phillies and more trouble afoot. Brought to you in part by Academy Sports and Outdoors, by AT&T, by Delta Airlines, and by Ford. Frustrating day for Paul Mahalam. His shortest outing, as Joe said, since June 23rd at Arizona. And he leaves with 2 runners on and nobody out in this Philadelphia third. Here's that man again, Eric Kratz. Bases loaded triple in the Philly first, or double I should say, for Kratz in the first inning. It scored 3 runs. Mr. Martinez answers our AT&T call to the bullpen.
Christian worked an inning here Friday night, got roughed up in the 10th inning and took the loss. Mayberry hit a 3-run homer.
Swing and a miss, and that's the first out.
It's almost been the Kratz and Mayberry show this whole series, especially after what they did Friday night. Mayberry with a 3-run homer late, but he also threw Chipper out at the plate. Kratz made the good play at the plate to hang on in the collision, and then he hit the game-tying homer in the 9th. And a big 3-run double today.
The Braves won't pitch to Michael Martinez. They'll set up a double play chance with Cole Hamels coming up. That's what made the Phillies so tough during their division title runs. You'd spend so much time thinking about Rollins and Utley and Howard and Polanco and others on this club that it was the Carlos Ruizes who would step up and do major damage, or Raul Ibanez when he was playing left field for the Phillies at that time. And a very deep offensive lineup. After they were sellers at the deadline, the Phillies have plugged in Mayberry and Wigginton and Kratz. Got a lot of mileage out of those guys.
And all 8 of their position players had hits yesterday.
Strike to Hamels, nothing in 1.
And as you pointed out, Chip, this is no gimme here. Hitting .232 coming in, despite the fact he struck out in the first inning.
Fly ball off the bat of Hamels, deep center. Bourne going back, still going back. It's over his head, and it's a ground rule double. On an 0-2 pitch.
Threw him another changeup. He threw him all changeups in that sequence, or off-speed pitches, and then came back with another one and left it out over the plate. Cole was not going to be fooled that time. He stayed back even 0-2, just sat on the changeup and rifles it over the head of Bourne.
All 3 run-scoring hits for the Phillies have come with 2 strikes tonight. And they extend their lead to 7-1. Now Jimmy Rollins bats with runners second and third, the infield in.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did indeed. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
All 7 runs have been driven in with 2 strikes on the batter, huh?
Yep. 0-2 to Ryan Howard, a 1-2 to Kratz, and an 0-2 to the pitcher, Cole Hamels. And Mahalam, 72 pitches, 6 hits, 7 runs in his 2+ innings of work. Rollins has been up twice. He's been on base twice. He singled in the first, walked in the second. Did he go? Nope. Angel Hernandez gives Rollins a reprieve. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Jimmy took strike 3. Christian's second strikeout, 2 outs for Franzen.
2-seamer fastball.
I don't know how that's any more a strike than the pitches that were at the bottom of the strike zone weren't. But Christian will take it. Here's Franzen. He's hit into a force play twice, but has scored a run. And upstairs, ball 1. Backhand try. Oh, Chipper with a deflection to the bare hand. Fortunate play there at the hot corner. Chipper Jones makes it and retires Kevin Franzen. The Phillies, though, score 2 more runs here in the 3rd inning, and they extend their lead to 7-1. Baseball Club come back a time or two this year. Remember, they trailed big to Roy Halladay, came back and won. They trailed big on the road to Steven Strasburg, came back and won the ball game. Let's not keep the offense under cover. Let's see them break it out just like that Braves fan.
Yep, don't hide your colors.
There you go. Hamels a 7-1 lead with Martin Prado leading off our third inning. And Franzen handles a bouncer. Let's see if he makes a good throw. He did this time, 1 out. Chipper Jones, the batter, as he steps in. We remind you to visit MLB.com/fan guide for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at a World Series game. It's presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. Chipper jumps the first pitch, pops it up right side. Ryan Howard near the Braves dugout, won't have a play. Strike 1.
I was talking to Chipper about Cole Hamels before the game, and he said, for me, of their big 3, he's the toughest because of his assortment of pitches, but especially that changeup. That was not a changeup on the first pitch. As a fastball, maybe a cutter at 91. But he said usually he likes to start me off speed and then go with hard stuff away.
One ball, 1 strike. Rollins at short. Gloves, grabs, and guns Chipper out.
How about Randy Wolf, released about a week ago by the Brewers? Just signed by Baltimore, and he beat the Yankees today.
Really?
Yeah.
What a race that's turned out to be in the East. Yankees without A-Rod. They've had Teixeira hurt. They've had Sabathia hurt. Baltimore wins today. They are 2 games behind the Yankees.
And I think blew a lead yesterday, didn't they?
That I can't remember.
I think they were ahead in the game anyway. The Yankees rallied to win.
But Baltimore down near the bottom in batting average in the American League. They've been outscored by 40 runs in their 2 games out of first. And the Orioles right now the second wild card in the American League. Buck Showalter working magic.
To another unlikely team that surprised everybody, and that's Oakland, who's getting great pitching too.
Took inside. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. The second wild card certainly proving to be a very exciting thing for Major League Baseball. We'll see if it works out the way Bud Selig had hoped. That's our first 1-2-3 inning of the game as Hamels strikes out Freddie Freeman for the second time.
1, top of the 4th inning. The Braves just announced Andrelton Simmons' rehab assignments. Get this, guys, he will start and finish the season as a Mississippi Braves shortstop. He will close their regular season tomorrow, and then Wednesday head to the South Atlantic League playoffs with Rome. Thursday he'll head to the Appalachian League playoffs with the Lynchburg Hillcats. He got some good work in today. Freddie Gonzalez said they wanted to run him some, make sure that his legs were underneath him, so when he does get to those rehab assignments, he is plenty healthy to go. And if it sounds unfair that Andrelton Simmons will be playing in the playoffs, keep this in mind. Last year for the Savannah Sand Gnats in the South Atlantic League playoffs, Johan Santana started game number 2.
Go get them, kids.
That is loading up.
Now, if those minor league teams win championships, will Andrelton get a ring?
Oh, of course. Especially when he goes 3 for 4.
I like it. As Chase Utley leads off the Philadelphia 4th. 7-1, Phillies have the lead. But it'll be great to see Andrelton back with the big league club, hopefully without any incident down in the minor leagues. And that's taking nothing away from what Paul Janisch has done. I mean, where would the Braves be without his work?
I'm sure Andrelton, if he had his druthers, he'd just soon get to Rome and stay there as opposed to bouncing from one team to the next.
Ground ball to first. And Chase Utley will be retired. 1 man down. Well, you've got that minor league per diem to look forward to, too, Joe. $650 a day.
Yeah, I wonder how that works. If you're on the major league roster, if you still get major league per diem. I'm guessing you do. They've got a good union, you know. But I know he can't wait to get started.
Here's Ryan Howard. He had a 2-strike pitch off the left field fence for a 2-run scoring double in the first inning. I know for those kids, though, who are wrapping up their season in the case of Mississippi or continuing on in the playoffs, that's a real thrill for them to have a guy from the show, as they call the big league team, come back down and play amongst them.
Especially one as young as Andrelton. Who can confirm everything they already knew or had heard about the big leagues.
Two strikes to Ryan Howard. Those have gotten him to 0-2 a couple of times. And he's 1 for 2 in the game. Braves have a shift on. And that missed inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sherwin Williams painting the corners. He was just 1 brush stroke off the corner.
Howard rolls over the top. Another chance for Freddie. And he'll beat Howard to the bag. 2 quick outs. Georgia Power customers can take advantage of Georgia Power's refrigerator recycling program. Free pickup for your second working refrigerator or freezer. You also get $50. To schedule your pickup or to learn more, log on to georgiapower.com/refrigerator. Remember, when you type that in, when you log on, there's no D in refrigerator. If you try to spell refrigerator with a D, Lord knows where that will take you on the World Wide Web.
Sound like a person from experience there.
No. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Little did you know that when you did that, there was some guy named Fred Refrigerator.
Yeah, right.
That had his own website.
Two and 1 to Ty Wigginton. Said the other day that Christian's got an excellent changeup. He showed it a lot in his relief work so far tonight.
Yeah, but sometimes he can fall in love with it a little too much, as he did with the pitcher. Nice play. First play by Andrelton Simmons since he was given the okay. Had a good play off the screen down there. But as he will attest, there's only so many sunflower seeds you can eat when you're on the DL, and so much nonsense you can listen to on the bench and act like you're interested.
2-2. And to our point about the Braves' struggles against lefties, he's another right-handed bat that you can put in there. Downstairs, 3-2. All 4 to Wigginton. Second walk for Martinez, his first unintentional walk of the night.
Third walk for Wigginton, and he scored twice in his first 2. When I was talking about Freddie Freeman in the shadows earlier today, this was a perfect scenario for what he was talking about, where everything's in the shadow. Pitcher, batter, everybody, except the batter's eye, which has bright sunshine on it. So that's what he was talking about that gives him the most trouble, picking the ball up out of that glare.
And I would assume the same thing applies to the home plate umpire. I'm not suggesting Ed Hickox has had a bad game behind the plate. He's had a tight zone.
Sounded like you were. Kind of implying that.
Just trying to help him out a little bit. A slow roller hit to the left side. Chipper cuts in front, throws to first, safe. Mayberry beats it out. Infield hit. I mean, yesterday, Tim Hudson was suffering death by 1,000 paper cuts. Just bloopers and bleeders all over the place, and a couple of them for the Phillies tonight.
Really good play here by Chipper to do everything he could. But again, the long legs of Mayberry makes him 3 for 3 on the day.
And now Kratz hits. Strike 1. Kratz was a 29th round draft choice by Toronto.
And very little big league time in before this year, right?
9 games with the Pirates in 2010. 2 games with the Phillies last year.
And how old is he?
32 as of June 15th.
So he is stuck in there, hung in there, battled to get a chance to get to the big leagues for even more than a cup of coffee, and making the best of it.
He's a native Pennsylvanian, was born in Telford, PA.
And you can tell by the sound of that swing that he didn't get much on it in the first inning, but big damage. A 3-run double.
He's a big dude, too. 6'4", 255 pounds. And drives this ball to right. Jason Hayward won't have a play. It's in the seats.
Remember Todd Pratt?
That's exactly who I was thinking of.
Yeah. Well, Friday night, he took a hit from Chipper on this play and held onto the baseball. Neither guy injured. Clean play, shoulder to shoulder. But Kratz ultimately wins because he held onto the baseball for the out. And then later in the game hit a game-tying homer in the ninth.
Popped up again, right side.
Todd Pratt's wasn't as big as this guy, but he's like Todd Pratt in the sense that Todd always looked a lot bigger than he really was. This guy looks like he's 275 pounds, not 255.
Yeah, Todd was nicknamed Tank, if I remember correctly.
But out of the same mold, certainly.
The Phillies 17-9 in games that Kratz has started. Winning big today. Martinez, though, strikes him out in the fourth inning. The Phillies strand a pair of runners. 7-1 Philadelphia. Home half of the fourth inning coming up. Sunday Braves on Fox Sports South. It's brought to you by your Atlanta Hyundai dealers. Make every Sunday a Hyundai Sunday on Fox Sports South. With Joe Simpson and Tom Hart, Chip Carey with you. And if you can't get enough college football, look to Bates and Bowden on Thursdays. James Bates and Tommy Bowden, former player-coach duo, bringing you their take on football in the SEC, ACC, Conference USA, and more. Don't miss the new college football show Thursday at 7 on Fox Sports South. Hamels back to work with David Ross.
Before Kratz struck out, I was about to make a comparison between he and David Ross, who is at the plate now, so you can judge by the comparison. When Kratz stands up, David's a big man, but Kratz that much bigger. I think there's something wrong with David. I really do. The way he swung the bat his first time up with those guys on base, top hand coming off the bat. I don't think he can follow through with that right side. And I think he's trying real hard to fight through it.
He does make contact and rolls to Jimmy Rollins. That's the first out of the Braves' fourth inning.
Now watch him after this swing and watch his right arm. Kind of grab at his side a little bit as he was taking off there. I hope I'm making something out of nothing, but looked like he was trying to favor that side as he took off running. And I hope he's okay.
Jason hit the first pitch of the day. He saw for a double. takes a strike. Jim Lovell, the Braves' fine assistant athletic trainer, checks out Ross. And Ryan Howard to the bag, a step ahead of Hayward. 2 quick outs. Hamels now settling into a groove. He's retired 8 men in a row. And Reed Johnson is the Braves batter. He drove in the only Atlanta run.
How about this list of guys? Lowest ERA since the All-Star break in the National League. Chris Medlin, Paul Maholm on that list, although Paul's will shoot up today with a tough outing. Cole Hamels 4th. How about Lucas Harrell? Yeah, we saw with Houston, he continues to pitch good baseball.
A guy that the White Sox just said, yeah, see you later. We'll get him.
As Joe Vincius, our producer, just pointed out, Chris Medlin goes tomorrow for the Braves against the Rockies, and he's in another one of those, hey, we need you to be a stopper if the Braves aren't able to rally today.
Fly ball center. Mayberry going back is going to have room, and that retires the side. 9 up, 9 down for Cole Hamels. He has a 6-run lead as we head to the 5th. Is facing Christian Martinez. And a swinging strike. Five Philly runs in the first. The Braves countered with 1 in the second. Phillies got 2 more in the third. They have 8 hits. And a chance at short for Giannis. And Paul's got his man, 1 man down. Don't forget, the Braves hope you'll join us for the postseason tickets pre-sale. They go on sale Wednesday, September 12th. Make your plans now to pick up your playoff tickets for the Braves. Go to Braves.com/postseason today. If playoffs were to start today, Atlanta would be one of 2 National League wildcard winners. Atlanta 2.5 games in front of St. Louis, who occupies the second playoff spot as far as the wild card goes. The Pirates start play today, a 1.5 games behind St. Louis, now a game.
Braves would have the home field advantage if the season ended today. The Braves also own a 5-1 season advantage in games head-to-head with the Cardinals.
Cole Hamels had a back-breaking blow in this game. A 2-run scoring double on an 0-2 pitch in the 3rd inning. That extended the Phillies' lead to the 7-1 score we now have. And he hits another ball sharply. Yanish to a knee. Good pickup. Good throw. Two outs. Here's Rollins. Rollins 3 hits away from 2,000 in his big league career. Said this a couple of times when we've seen the Phillies. You go up and down the accolades for Jimmy Rollins in Phillies history, and it's a very impressive resume. First in franchise history in most games played at short. Second most in extra base hits for switch hitters. The only man that has more extra base hits than Rollins is Mike Schmidt in the history of the Phillies franchise. Second in doubles, third in runs, third in triples, third in games, third in steals. And of course, the championship too. This ball hammered deep center, and Bourne can't get it. That's over his head and over the fence on a bounce. Ball is really carrying to center field this evening.
Pretty good breeze blowing out that way too. Not saying that they're all wind dated, but it's helping. You know, when you're talking about more extra base hits than anybody in their history except for Mike Schmidt, any hitter that wants to challenge that has to start knowing that Mike Schmidt had over 500 homers before you even get to the doubles.
Well, I was going to say he's second to Mike Schmidt, but by about 300 extra base hits.
Yeah.
But still a great Phillies career for Jimmy Rollins. Philadelphia now 9 hits, 6 of them doubles today. Rockies are here tomorrow. They've got a tough travel day. They just outlasted San Diego 11-10. Now they fly cross country and meet the Braves here tomorrow for an early Labor Day start.
I'll bet when they leave Coors Field and come even to a park as spacious as this one, they get here and think, wow, what a bandbox.
Yeah. Hey, we're playing in Wrigley. And a pop-up off the bat of Franson. And Freddie Freeman at first makes the play.
Nice of Jimmy Rollins to run on that play.
Attaboy, Jimmy. 7-1 your score in the 5th inning.
Time now to take a look at our Jamison Inn upcoming schedule. The Rockies come to town, and the next Braves telecast is tomorrow at 12:30. They're last in the NL West, but Dexter Fowler has been hitting well for them as of late. And guys are still doing their 4-man rotation with a 75-pitch limit. It has worked splendidly. Before that, when they're at 5 men, the ERA was 6.28. They have whittled that down all the way to 5.61 since.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. That's a very interesting thing that Colorado's doing. It's, I guess, a 75-50 plan, something that Bob Nightingale wrote about in USA Today. Starters throw 75 pitches. They have a buddy follow them in line, and that man throws no more than 50 pitches every single day.
Every single start.
Every single start. So you
guy.
start, you're
my bullpen buddy.
Yeah, which would be really bad for your ERA. Better not leave with anybody on base.
It's different, that's for sure. But as we have been talking about, and I've been harping on, it doesn't matter what a team's record is. It's what are they doing when you play them. And while the schedule looked very favorable for the Braves this month against sub-500 teams, all of these teams are playing well. The Padres, we've seen evidence of it here with the Phillies, and the Rockies are coming to town, playing maybe their best baseball in months. No easy shakes at all. And Dexter Fowler, by the way, 7th in the league in hitting overall for the Milton High School product.
That is the 9th full count we have seen in this game. 9 of them. And we're in the 5th inning. And Giannis coaxes a leadoff walk. So Hamels to the stretch for the first time since the 2nd inning.
And that is something he hasn't been doing. I talked about the start where the Braves really roughed him up in late July, and he walked 6 batters. Since that start, he has really gotten that under control. That's only his 7th walk that he's issued in his last 43 innings. And to go with that, 38 strikeouts. So a real good strikeout to walk ratio, and he's really cut down on them on the walks.
Tyler Pasternak pinch hits for Christian Martinez. Christian went 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 intentional, and he struck out 3 Phillies. Pop fly foul into the stands. Quickly 0-2. The elder statesman of the club, Miguel Batista, begins to loosen the Braves bullpen. Line drive into center. Mayberry with those long legs tracks it down.
But he almost got burned on that line drive. We're talking about how the ball's carrying, Chip, and the breeze helping out a little bit. That almost sailed right over the top of him. Good thing he had long arms there, too. Came in and then almost overran it.
1 on, 1 out for Michael Bourne. Things look great for the Braves in the bottom of the 1st inning. Just from an offensive standpoint, Bourne ripped one down the 3rd base line, then stole 2nd, got to 3rd. The Braves, who gave up 5 in the opening inning, had runners 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, could not push home a 1st inning run. Braves so far today 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position.
Good way to let the Braves back in and start walking people, putting guys on base. He walked 3 in his last start at Cincinnati to account for 3 of the 6 he had issued in his last 38 innings.
Another full count. And there's the walk. 2 walks in the 5th inning. Martin Prado is striding to the batter's box. First visit for Rich Doobie, the Phillies pitching coach.
You don't hear much about Rich with respect to their 3 big guns like the Braves had when they had Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox. And we talk about Leo Mazzoni and the things he did for those guys, even with their ability, the influence he had. Well, I think the same thing can be applied to Rich Doobie, that he keeps them on the straight and narrow, keeps them going in the right direction, helps them a lot.
Don't forget, with the Phillies' big 3, he's turned Kyle Kendrick around. Kendrick's won 4 straight decisions. He had Joe Blanton pitching excellent baseball when we saw him before he was shipped off to the Dodgers. I agree, he's a very underappreciated pitching coach. 1 ball, no strikes to Martin Prado. First runner in scoring position for the Braves since the 2nd inning. First time Hamels has been in the stretch since the 2nd inning.
Back-to-back changeups to start Martin. Trying to get a ground ball.
He did. And it's right at Jimmy Rollins. Utley the turn. And in time. Another play. Hamels issues a couple of walks to the Braves in the 5th inning, but Prado and Atlanta are doubled up. On we go to the 6th inning. A big Phillies lead. It's 7-1. Braves, Joe, hoping to avoid a 3-game sweep, fell behind very early to Cole Hamels.
Yeah, tough first inning. Really told the tale of today's ball game. He spot Cole Hamels 5 runs. Usually that's about all he needs. 0-2 pitch to Ryan Howard. He doubles off the wall to plate 2. And then on a 1-2 count, Eric Kratz just stuck his bat out there and doubled down the right field line to drive in 3. Wasn't finished though, as Hamels helped himself. Bases loaded in the 3rd inning. 0-2 count. He doubles over the head of Michael Bourne. Bounces one out of the ballpark for a ground rule double. 7-1 is our score.
And another AT&T call to the bullpen. This one answered by right-hander Miguel Batista. Made his debut for the Braves out in San Diego. And also pitched here on the first. A scoreless inning with a walk. Well, if this score holds, the Braves will be swept by the Phillies, and they'll fall to 4-11 in their last 15 games. They will have lost 7 games in the standings to Philadelphia in that stretch.
Well, and they'll be 7.5 behind Washington, who won today, and I think that would be a season.
That sounds right.
The largest season deficit too, behind the Nationals. And while you can point your finger directly at the offense during the struggles of the last 14 games today, again, you fall behind 5-0 in the first to Hamels. It's a tough road.
So Batista will try to hold him right there. He's got Utley, Howard, and Wigginton coming up. The Phillies have doubled the Braves to death today, 6 of them amongst their 9 hits in total. All of their run scoring hits have come with 2 strikes.
First inning, though, I mean, there was a walk to Wigginton that was a little suspect in terms of a couple of calls that didn't go the way Mahalan would have liked it. And then
Utley a drive to center. Look at that ball jump. Bourne back to the fence, leaps up, makes the catch, pays the price. 1 out.
I think the way the ball's been jumping over his head, Michael backed up a step or 2 and able to flag that one down. Nice play, jumping into the fence. But back to my point, the 2-0 deficit from Howard's doubles one thing. I think for Kratz just to stick his bat out there and find the right field line, that was the real killer.
Braves country's been saying, "Oh, Kratz," an awful lot.
Yes, they have.
Here's Howard.
As our beloved Ernie would say, rack of Kratz. Kinda.
Ball 1 to the Phillies' first baseman. After this ball game, the Phillies travel to Cincinnati. They've got a 3-game set with the Reds. And they have a 1 o'clock start tomorrow afternoon. And the Reds have opened up a gigantic lead in the Central all of a sudden. The Reds started play today 81-53, 8.5 games in front of the Cardinals. The bulk of that work done without Joey Votto. They've just been remarkably good with their pitching, and Aroldis Chapman at the end of the games has been almost unhittable.
Did we ever get word on whether or not they were actually going to, that Votto was going to be able to come back or not? Do we know?
Martin Prado playing shallow right with the shift. And that's out number 2. I know he's on rehab, and I read a story the other day where Votto said he just didn't feel comfortable quite yet at the plate or in the field. As much time as he's missed, I guess that's to be expected.
Especially with a hand wrist injury. Got to take that slowly. So I guess that's a good sign for the Reds that he is out testing it.
I don't know if this is still the case, but I believe the Reds are still the only team in the major leagues that have used only 5 starting pitchers all year. Can have Gretchen check that for us. Contrast that with the Padres, for example. We just saw they've used 15 different starters.
Yeah, that's just good fortune to be able to have your guys all stay healthy like that and not have to move anyone around or put them on the DL.
To Wigginton with 2 outs. Ty's walked 3 times today. And Gretchen tells us that the Reds have used 6 starters.
Okay.
Todd Redmond made a start in a doubleheader.
Oh, good for him. All right. Got in there. He got called up about 4 times this year and never got to pitch.
And a nice inning by Miguel Batista. He retires Philadelphia in order in the 6th. Get your rally caps on, Braves country. It's 7-1 Phillies.
How about this ground ball and effort? Backhanded glove flip by Martin Prado, handled with the bare hand. On the reach by Paul Janisch. Got it. And almost got the double play. Outstanding work around the bag at second. That was the Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Big cheer for that man, Staff Sergeant David Castro. Our hometown hero out of Fort Benning, Georgia, honored in between innings here at Turner Field. Again, for me, that's one of the best things that the Braves in-house game production staff puts on, is that welcome home for a member of our military.
Couldn't agree more. Welcome home, David.
You bet. Braves half of the 6th, down 7-1. Here's Chipper. And he takes a called strike. Field, Martinez is there, and that's the first out. Time for our trivia question this afternoon. It's brought to you by our friends at AT&T Uverse. Since 2006, Cole Hamels has recorded the 2nd most wins in the National League. Didn't know that. Who has the most wins in National League play since 2006?
Well, unfortunately, since then, 12 of those wins have come at the expense of the Braves. He's won more games against the Braves than any other team. Of course, he faces them more thanks to the interdivision play.
2 strikeout day for Freddie Freeman, and he's quickly behind 0-2 here.
All right, I think we can take CC Sabathia off the list.
Yep.
Ross Grimsley is off the list. And Sterling Hitchcock.
Yeah. Base hit to right for Freddie Freeman with 1 out. Chris Carpenter's the guy that came to mind first for me.
Oh, that's a good one.
But he's hurt for St. Louis, so Hamels already spotted 14 wins this year. Chris Carpenter. Can't say Cliff Lee or Roy Halladay. Both those guys were in the American League for a number of years. Clayton Kershaw.
Our boy Roy Oswalt.
That's been an answer too a couple of times too in sneaky fashion. That might be right up Gretchen's alley. There's David Ross, a quick strike. We won't know till after the game. We'll ask David. It's not tonight, tomorrow before the game, how he's feeling. The time he swung the bat, he's grimaced pretty noticeably, even when he made contact and grounded out in the 4th. Looked like his side was bothering him. And now behind 0-2 on a bunt attempt that goes foul.
Yeah, and that might tell you something right there too.
That looked like it hurt.
Now watch him catch himself right there, trying to take a little weight off and pulling his forearm into his side. A little painful to watch.
But I'm sure David's the kind of guy that will tell you, I'll be hurt at the end of October.
Yeah, but he's so important to the ball club right now. You just don't want him to stay in there and run the risk, if it really is an injury, of doing such damage that he can't play the rest of the way. That really hurt.
I was going to say, that probably hurt more than a swing, didn't it?
Yeah. Those darn oblique muscle injuries take a long time to heal if you really do a number on it. Remember, it was Nate McLouth who pulled his oblique, I think, in Anaheim on a check swing.
And I think we both said at the time that we had never seen a hitter do that.
Right.
On a check swing. Swinging the bat, yes, but not on a check. David's down on strikes. That's 2 down. Hamels with 5 strikeouts. Hope you'll join us and catch Chipper and the Braves here at Turner Field as they close out the regular season. Get great seats to see them take on the Miami Marlins Tuesday, September 25th through the 27th. All you have to do is visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. Marlins series, the start of the final regular season homestand for the Braves. 3 with the Marlins, then 3 with the Mets. Those are the final 6 home games for Chipper Jones here at Turner Field in the 2012 regular season. So make your plans to join us.
Miami's fallen into last place in the division, and they've lost. After losing today, they've lost 8 of their last 11. But Giancarlo Stanton is playing really well. 10 homers in his last 22 games. I'm not sure what he did today.
Stanton second to Ryan Braun of Milwaukee in home runs in the National League. And remember, he missed several weeks coming back from knee surgery. Swing and a miss by Hayward, 2-2.
Jason's hit the ball hard twice today. The big double over the head of Mayberry, and then a real hot shot that was gloved by Ryan Howard, or excuse me, by Chase Utley, that made a good play on him to throw him out.
There's another bullet, and Ryan Howard couldn't get that. Freeman around second, on his way to third. He'll be stopped. Jason Hayward almost took off Ryan Howard's glove hand on that rope down the right field line.
Did you say he couldn't get it or wouldn't get it?
Well, take your pick. I don't blame him. That ball was killed.
He was trying to get his legs out of the way of that one. If it went in his glove, fine. But yikes. Olay. And from 90 feet away, there's just zero time to react. Third shot hit today by Hayward.
I know they call third base the hot corner. Well, first base is the hot corner when a left-handed hitter's up there. Jason has 2 more hits. And they've come against a tough left-hander, Cole Hamels. That's an encouraging sign for Atlanta here in September. Now a hit could score a couple more runs for the Braves, who trail 7-1. Reed Johnson, the batter, has the Atlanta RBI. He doubled in the second.
Haven't seen that pitch hardly at all today from Hamels. No need for it. He's just been mostly fastballs, cutters, and changeups. That was a breaking ball.
Hamels about to throw his 100th pitch. And it's lined into center field for a hit. Freeman scores. Hayward around third. They'll concede the 2 runs. It's a 7-3 game, a 3 RBI night for Reed Johnson.
Gives him 20 on the year. Fastball, inner third. He's hit the ball hard today 3 different times. And a little 2-out lightning here from the Braves, and good to see some 2-out clutch hitting with runners in scoring position.
And it's such a funny game. There's a number for everything. Reed Johnson didn't have a hit against the Phillies, and had never had a hit against Cole Hamels coming in tonight. Well, he's 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. And the Braves have some life now. Down 7-3 in the 6th. That gets the Phillies' pen busy. One ball, 1 strike. Pitcher's spot is next. That's why Jeff Baker's in the on-deck circle. Giannis has to keep the inning alive for Atlanta. Moylan loosening in the Atlanta pen. Swing and a miss by Giannis on a ball up around his collarbone. The Braves score 2 runs. They do it on 3 hits. Reed Johnson's 2-out single makes it a 7-3 game. By 4 after 6 innings here in Atlanta. And friends, last week the Hyundai Hope on Wheels Tour made a stop at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Hope on Wheels is the united effort of over 800 Hyundai dealers, including your Atlanta Hyundai dealers, to raise awareness about childhood cancer and celebrate the lives of the kids battling the disease. Every time a new Hyundai vehicle is sold in the U.S., $5 is donated to Hope on Wheels. Since 1998, Hyundai Hope on Wheels has donated more than $45 million to childhood cancer research.
That's a great thing, isn't it?
Awesome. And the only time in those kids' lives that they can fingerprint or finger paint someone's car and not get in big trouble.
Well, you know, there was a parent somewhere that walked out the next morning and had a few handprints somewhere on their car.
Yes.
Because somebody thought it was okay.
So our thanks to Hyundai for that very generous continued donation and support. And our thanks to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. What wonderful folks they are. I know we've done the hospital tours with the Braves, and seeing those kids and their cheerful nature and the great work that staff does, really, really remarkable.
Yeah, up and down, top to bottom, great place, wonderful work, wonderful people.
You see the issue for Freddie Freeman right now as we approach 7:30. Ground ball to Chipper. He'll scoop it up. And a close play gets Mayberry and ends John's perfect day at the plate. He was 3 for 3 before that out. A lot of folks were asking us why the 5:05 start time today. Something the Braves wanted to try and see what kind of crowds and interest that generated. I would say very nice crowds gathered on this Sunday afternoon.
I'd say so too.
Haven't got the official attendance figures quite yet. I think they were over 40,000 here yesterday. Here's Kratz. He's doubled and struck out twice. And Batista wants to know where that pitch was. Popped up. Foul ground. Freddie's under it. 2 outs. Get the third limited edition Chipper Jones commemorative print presented by SunTrust. It highlights Chipper's 2008 batting title. Get your tickets now for the Friday, September 14th game against the Nationals. Visit Braves.com/tickets or dial 800-745-3000. And if you are just joining us, Tom Hart reported earlier that the Nationals told Steven Strasburg he's only got 2 more starts left. And if there are no delays, no rainouts, the Braves will not see Strasburg in that series here in Atlanta. His final start would come 2 days before that series begins. 2 outs for Michael Martinez. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
And as far as we know, that means that if they shut him down, that he's not going to pitch in the postseason either, correct?
That's what
we understand.
That's what Mike Rizzo told me in Washington. When he's done, he's done. And Martinez is done, and so is Batista. Miguel with 2 perfect innings of relief. 7th inning stretch. Tighten down those rally caps. Braves need 4 to tie in Atlanta. Back in Atlanta, you see the big crowd as the Braves and Phillies wrap up our 3-game series. 7-3, though. You see the Phillies with 7 runs in the first 3 innings. Partner, not the way Atlanta envisioned this game starting or envisioned how this series would go. Don't want to be swept by the Phillies, who are rolling right now.
Well, but we talked about that at the beginning of the game. You knew that Cole Hamels was on a roll. He'd gone 3-0 over his last 4 starts, including 2 shutouts, complete game shutouts. And yet that's exactly what happened. The Phillies put 5 on the board in the first inning, and you give Cole Hamels 5 runs to work with the start of a ball game. There's not too many times that he's going to let that falter, but the Braves have come back to make it a game. They're within striking distance and a few innings to go. So let's hope the bats pick up a little bit from Reed Johnson, who's had a big day, and he's driven in all 3 Braves runs.
And if there is a weak spot for this Philadelphia ball club, I think it's safe to say it's their middle relief. If you can get Hamels out of the ball game and get to them before they get to Papelbon, you've got a chance to put some big numbers on the board.
That was one of the reasons when they made the deal sending Victorino to the Dodgers that they got Josh Lindblom back, because he's a guy who had been in that role with L.A., and he's got a good arm, and he helps get to Papelbon if needed. So we'll see if we see him today. If they take Cole Hamels out, I think he's over 100 pitches, maybe close to 105 on the day, so they may want to take him out and save him for another day. We'll see.
Well, not yet. He's still out there for the Phillies. And Jeff Baker is going to come on and pinch hit for Atlanta. Braves got him, you'll recall, from the Detroit Tigers for cash or a player to be named later. And as soon as Baker is announced for the Phillies, Charlie Manuel will go get Cole Hamels and take him out of this ball game. Hamels goes 6. He gives up 3 runs on 6 hits. He's in line for a career high tying 15th win. The Braves have other ideas, down 4. But
Part by the Georgia Lottery, by Jameson Inn, by AT&T Uverse, and by Ram Trucks.
I've got the best job in the world, folks, because I get to work with the Nostradamus of the National League. He said if Cole Hamels doesn't stay in the game, Josh Lindblom could be the next guy out there for the Phillies. And as if Charlie Manuel was listening to Joe Simpson, that's exactly the move that the Phillies skipper made.
If Charlie were listening to me, he would have started Tyler Cloyd today instead of tomorrow, but he didn't. But there is the young man that they got from the Dodgers. He throws hard, good slider, and he'll face Jose Costanza instead of Baker.
Well, Hamels was terrific. 105 pitches, 70 strikes in his 6 innings. And now Jose Costanza will pinch hit for Baker and start off the Atlanta 7th. Costanza, one of those men called up on September 1st.
4th time he's been called up this year, and had a good year at AAA, 314. A homer, 27 RBIs. And at the time I was just reading, at the time he was called up, he's leading the league in hitting.
Go. Yes, he did. And that's the first out. Costanza strikes out to open the Atlanta 7th.
That's the hard slider from Lindblom down and in that got him to go after it. 93 to 94 on his fastball, the slider in the mid 80s.
Bourne bats. Michael has a single, a ground out, and a walk. He jumps the first pitch and pops it up foul left side into the seats. All the National League action is final with the exception of our game.
Dodgers came back to beat Arizona.
I was going to say the Dodgers were in risk of getting passed by the Giants. I mean, LA had really fallen on hard times. They started play today, 4.5 games out in the West. And all those big acquisitions for the Dodgers, they've really played poorly since.
Yeah, they'd lost 6 of their last 10 before today.
Bourne lines one over Utley. 2-hit game for Michael Bourne, and he's aboard with 1 out.
Chance to close the gap.
And the middle relief for the Phillies is a big issue for them. Tom McCarthy, their fine TV play-by-play man, gave me a stat that I couldn't believe. This year, the Phillies have 6 losses in games where they've had 2 outs and the lead in the 8th inning.
Wow. I know they have 31 total losses when they score first,
Which is also hard to believe.
By comparison, I think the Braves have 20. 31 losses when they score first. That's a lot.
Martin an 0 for 3 game. He's homered in 2 straight. Two and one.
Nice to get a couple guys on in front of Chipper and Freeman, see what happens. Pretty good breaking ball. Although the way Kratz caught it, I'm surprised he gave him the strike. Kind of came up out of his crouch a little bit to get that one.
Close play at first.
Close to a balk, too. Trying to make that quick turn, and he's barely stepping. It's almost like a pivot, a spin. You can't do that.
Otto's down on strikes. 2 outs for Chipper.
You can understand why the Phillies wanted this guy back from L.A. They desperately needed somebody that could get some outs for him, leading into Papelbon. And now here comes Charlie, and it looks like he's going to make a double switch and make Chipper switch around and bat left-handed.
So Ed Hickox and Charlie Manuel exchange notes on their respective lineup cards. Lindblom with a couple of strikeouts and a single to Michael Bourne. He'll depart. Braves down 7-3 with a man aboard and 2 outs in the 7th. Georgia Power by Sherwin-Williams, by Toyota, and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. 7-3 Phillies. Braves batting in the 7th inning. SEC Gridiron Live is back, and Tim Couch is holding it down with a new cast, including Desmond Purnell, James Bates, and Elizabeth Moreau. Get to know the new crew as they bring you the best of the SEC's opening week, plus a look ahead to Week 2. Don't miss SEC Gridiron Live Wednesday at 10 on Fox Sports South. Big left-hander Jeremy Horst is on for the Phillies. Chipper Jones will turn around and bat right-handed with 2 outs and a man aboard in the 7th inning.
I'm a little curious about this move. I mean, as good as Lindblom looked striking out 2 guys, a little surprised that we bring in Horst to pitch to Chipper.
Well, if he wasn't able to get Chipper and he keeps him in the ballpark, you got a lefty next, then you've got David Ross, then Jason Hayward. That's one thing that Freddie Gonzalez did with his new look lineup today. Lefties and righties are every other batter, it seems. And he's got Chipper behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Couple of good pitches to get ahead, though.
Nate Scherholtz has checked in to the game in right field. He'll bat in the 9th spot.
Just off the disabled list. Bad hammy.
They might pick off Bourne. They do pick off Bourne with Chipper in the batter's box. Bourne is caught on a 1-3-6 pickoff. That hurts. And we go to the 8th. 7-3 Phillies.
Pickoff, but watch what happened here. Jimmy Rollins really gave this away. Now watch Rollins here. He will see the sign, and then he will creep a little closer to second base so he can be over there to cover if there is a pickoff. He sees the throw over sign. He starts moving, and if he's not moving to the bag, he may not get there in time to take that throw. But he definitely gave it away that they were coming over to first base with the move he made to the bag.
So Rollins due second in the Phillies' 8th. Nate Schierholtz will lead things off. Braves into their pen yet again. And it's left-hander Johnny Venters. Ground ball towards second. Prado to his right. Throws and makes the play. That was pretty.
Shows you some of his range here. And a good accurate throw as well.
So the AT&T call to the bullpen, the third of the day for Atlanta. Here's Rollins. 2 more hits for Jimmy, 2 away from 2,000 now. And a sharply hit ball to Yanish. 2 outs on 3 pitches for Venters.
I was wrong about Schierholtz too. His injury was not a hamstring pull. It was a broken right big toe that he incurred on August 13th. But back today.
Here's Franson. He's 0 for 4, but has scored a run. Big crowd in Atlanta this afternoon or evening, 36,394. Pushes the Braves over the 2 million mark in attendance this year. About 5,000 fans. We've got 4 games coming up with Colorado starting tomorrow afternoon, 1:10. Then 2 7:10 games Tuesday and Wednesday night, then an early 12:10 game on Thursday before we leave town for New York. And that's foul past third. And here's who's starting game 1 of the Braves Rockies series. That's brought to you by Chevron.
Chris Medlin, I was just trying to add it up here based on every 5 days if he's going to pitch at home again. And I haven't come to that tabulation yet. I'm not sure, but what this might be your last chance to see him pitch at home. Was that called a strike?
Of the screen, yes.
It struck the screen, yeah, okay.
That's off the plate. Ball 4. 2 out walk to Franson brings up Chase Utley.
Medlin might get that first game against the Nationals when they come in here on the 14th.
Have you heard anything about Ben Sheets, by the way?
I have not.
He's still having that shoulder issue. Don't know when or if we'll see Ben back in rotation.
Hopefully soon.
Braves down 7-3, face Utley with a man aboard and 2 outs. Utley doubled in the first inning. Paul Maholm started for the Braves and really fought a tight strike zone. Not making any excuses. He'd be the first to tell you, I'm sure, he didn't have his A stuff. 7 runs, 6 hits, and 2+ innings. A couple of big 2-strike hits really hurt Maholm today. Martinez gave up a 2-run scoring double to Cole Hamels on an 0-2 pitch. And Prado to his left will take care of Chase Utley and the Phillies in the 8th. Bottom half, Chipper Jones will start things off. Atlanta's down 4 runs. It's a 7-3 score.
Up for Andrelton Simmons in more ways than one. He'll start his rehab assignment tomorrow. But how about this? One of his best childhood friends, Jurickson Profar, a September call-up, first at bat for the Texas Rangers, and the Curacao native goes yard. Big yard, 388 feet. He's the first ever teenager in American League history to homer in his first ever big league at bat.
Been hearing about that kid all summer, and boy, does he make a great debut.
And what a perfect last name. Profar.
Yeah.
So Chipper was in the batter's box when Michael Bowen was picked off to end the 7th. He'll lead things off in the 8th. 3, 4, and 5 up for Atlanta. And ball 2 outside. Strike 3 on a breaking ball, and no argument from Chipper. 1 away in the 8th.
Charlie Manuel didn't know what he was talking about here, bringing the lefty in to pitch to Chipper, and he made a really good pitch there. Took a little off the breaking ball and dropped it in there.
Freddie with a single and a run last time up. The upper deck, straight back. And again, 2 balls, 2 strikes. A rainy, muggy start to the day. It's turned out to be a lovely night. Breeze blowing straight out toward center field.
That was pretty much the same slider he threw Chipper, but just to a bad location, so Freddie didn't offer.
Ball 4 high. Back to our trivia question. It's brought to you by AT&T Uverse. Since 2006, Cole Hamels has the 2nd highest total of wins in the National League. Who has more than Hamels since 2006?
I kind of waffling on Tim Hudson too, but I'm going to stick with Roy Oswalt.
Way to pitch. Give you a chance to unwaffle, if you want. Swing and a miss by Ross. My answer was Chris Carpenter of the Cardinals.
Okay.
You staying with Oswalt?
Yep. That's amazing. That is flat out amazing. I thought of him and I thought, no, I know he doesn't ever miss a start. He's out there every 5 days, but he doesn't have enough wins.
I would have guessed that's the number of home runs he'd given up since 2006.
Well, he gives up a lot of them in that bandbox of a ballpark, but man, does he go to the post every day.
So we've been had on Ross Grimsley and Bronson Arroyo this year. To make flashcards on those questions for next year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And folks, David Ross has given you everything he's got in this game. We don't know, but we suspect that his side's bothering him. bravely battling on in the 8th.
When the Rockies come to town tomorrow, Tyler Chatwood, a right-hander, then another lefty, Drew Pomerantz, and then 2 more right-handers.
Two balls, 2 strikes. But as we showed you, forget about the Rockies' overall record. It's how they're playing now. And how they're playing now is very well. They've won 18 of their last 31 games. And a slow roller back to the mound. Rollins steps on the bag, completes the double play. 1-6-3, and out goes Atlanta in the 8th inning. We go to the 9th. It's 7-3 Phillies.
Time now for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Excuse me, Cold Hard Fact. And that is Ryan Howard. Most home runs against Atlanta by active players, and it's not even close. Ryan Howard over David Wright. And look who's third. Dan Uggla. 40 home runs for the big guy. That's your Coors Light Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Crossbrewed Coors Light.
Braves throw their 5th pitcher of the day against the Phillies. It's Luis Avilan. And you talk about young men having unheralded terrific debut seasons in the big leagues. You got to add this kid to the list.
Now, he's had some innings where he's had base runners, either walks or base hits, but he gets out of it. He knows how to get out of it. 2-to-1 strikeouts to walks. And pitched here yesterday, 2 innings of hitless, scoreless relief.
Inside to Ryan Howard. We are at 8 o'clock in the East. Glad you're with us around Braves country. Joe Chip and Tom Hart with you. Phillies scored 5 in the first, 2 in the third. And behind Cole Hamels, that's been more than enough to this point. Phillies trying to sweep the Braves and win their 4th consecutive game and move to within 7 games of the Cardinals for the 2nd wild card spot. With a whole month of baseball left. The hardest part for the Phillies will be that they would have to pass Milwaukee, Arizona, the Dodgers, and Pirates at this point to get into postseason play. It's the Age-old baseball axiom. Let's get to 500 first and see where we stand. Well, the Phillies, if they win this one, would be 4 under.
They'd have to climb over the Cardinals, too. That's one more team.
Right. Beg your pardon, add them to the list, too. And a nice comeback by Avalon to strike out Howard after falling behind 2-0. One away in the ninth. First time Howard has struck out today. Tough test coming up for the Phillies. They play in Cincinnati starting tomorrow. We've got the Rockies for the first of 4 tomorrow. Three walks and a strikeout for Ty Wigginton today, but Lance Nix took over for him. And he bats for the first time and is backed away with ball 1.
Two teams closest to the Braves in the wild card race right now. St. Louis and Pittsburgh both lost today. St. Louis will be at home with the Mets tomorrow, beginning tomorrow, and the Pirates will be at home with Houston.
Two balls and a strike. Here's the wild card standings.
Dodgers, with their win today, climbed over the Pirates, so they have moved ahead of them, and I was wrong on the closest ones.
2-2 to Lance Nix.
Dodgers will be at home with the Padres.
Well, it will be a very exciting final month. As fluid as the wild card race is, a whole lot of scoreboard watching from here on out. And Avalon strikes out Nix. That ball was tipped and caught by David Ross. 2 outs.
Good action on his fastball, and he throws hard. 93, 94 at times. But after 2 innings yesterday, he did the job against 2 lefties today. That's it for him.
Release continues his excellent work in Atlanta relief. The top of the ninth continues in a moment. Big Fox, and we missed Peter's first outing since coming back from his injuries against the Phillies.
And it was a good one. Just took him 9 pitches, and he got 3 ground ball out. So that was a good sign indeed, because that's Peter's specialty. That one tipped off his glove. Nice play by Yanish. a good pitch there to Dominic Brown to end the inning. But what a great comeback for him after last pitching September 19th of last year at Florida.
And it's such a great story with Peter Moylan. Anytime a player comes back from injury, you see how excited they are to be back with the big league club, and Peter certainly was before the game. And Tom, what an addition Peter Moylan could be for this ball club during September's run.
Huge addition in the bullpen, huge addition for this ball club. He said, I knew things weren't good in spring training when I was playing catch with Tim Hudson, and he said I was slinging pizzas. I said, that's not a good thing? He said, no, not for a big league pitcher. You don't want to be slinging pizzas.
Ross takes some punishment and fires that ball off the screen in frustration. It's been a rough day for David physically in this game.
Boy, just behind the shin guard, like on the Achilles of his left leg. Yeah, whether it's slinging pizzas or, as Tom Glavine talks about, throwing frisbees up there, same thing.
I mean, you hitter types love it when they do that.
Yes, we do. But Tim Hudson's description is a beauty. Just a bit inside.
That would be kind of a pizza sling.
Yeah, that one, thankfully for John Mayberry, that one didn't break at all. And I can tell you from firsthand experience on that one, you don't really know where to go. If you back up, it's got you.
Well, it might set up the outside corner for Peter here. He tried but missed.
90 on that fastball.
A former pharmaceutical representative in Australia, played club baseball, was spotted, made the Australian team for the World Baseball Classic, which was played in Orlando. The Braves scouts saw him, signed him, and Peter Moylan's had a terrific run in an Atlanta uniform. He gets out of the top of the ninth inning, and the Braves up for their last call. Braves Live presented by AT&T. We'll hear from Braves skipper Freddie Gonzalez. We'll get sound from the locker room, and we will have all of our highlights tonight. Joe, lost in what is right now a big Phillies lead late is the work turned in by the Braves bullpen. You're looking for a silver lining. Atlanta's bullpen, 7 innings of 3 hits scoreless baseball. In fact, the Phillies no hits since the 5th inning, so the bullpen has held the Phillies right there. The Braves bats, though, haven't been able to get anything done against Cole Hamels, Josh Lindblom, and Jeremy Horst.
They've held them at bay, given the Braves a chance to try to catch up. A couple of missed opportunities for the Braves early, one in the first inning, one in the fifth. But still in striking distance.
High and tight to Jason Hayward, who's got a couple of doubles and a couple of runs today. Both of Jason's doubles came against left-hander Cole Hamels. Jason's been this club's #3 hitter for the last several months, but moved down in the order with a left-hander on the mound, and that managerial move has paid off for Jason and for Freddie today. And this one's skied toward left center, but it's playable, and Mayberry takes over for the first out. More note on Hayward. Jason scored 79 runs. That's second most on the team. He's 6 behind Michael Bourne with his 2 today. And he's 2 for 4. Here's Reed Johnson. Reed's knocked in all 3 Atlanta runs.
He's had a good day and he's hit the ball hard. Even on the 1 out he's made, it was squared up.
That one on his hands and foul 0-2. To play to the right side, foul. It's still no balls, 2 strikes.
Uh-oh. We have a 9th inning injury there on a foul ball. Ow.
Reed Johnson with a hit on a 2-strike count. Well, we've seen a lot of those in this game, haven't we? He's got 3 hits.
Need a couple more base runners. That tying run to the plate.
Paul Janish, the batter. Brave shortstop 0 for 2 with a walk. And Rich Doobie will very slowly make his way to the mound. Might get the Phillies bullpen busy as Dan Ugla's grabbed a bat and will move to the on-deck circle.
They have Philippe Aumont forming that.
Practicing.
He's the guy with the big right arm. There's Philippe.
He was real impressive here the other night. Meeting breaks up. Janish to work. 3-0.
Plate dancing around on him a little bit. Want to know if Felipe is ready. Jonathan Papelbon also begins to toss.
The Phillies have their French Connection bullpen combo working.
Yeah.
Base on balls. We'll take that. 2 on with 1 out. Ugla will be announced. Let's see if that's it for Horst. Charlie Manuel's on the top step, waiting for the official announcement. Ugla's making his way to the plate. And Horst will ride off into the sunset.
Signal for the right-hander, but there's 2 of them down there. I'm not sure if Angel Hernandez, the third base umpire, knows which one.
So we will find out in a moment. Braves have action in the 9th inning. 2 on with 1 out. Down 7-3. The Phillies go to Jonathan Papelbon, and Dan is taken down. Braves will bring on Lyle Overbay, a left-handed bat, to face the Philadelphia closer.
And his first at bat will come against Jonathan Papelbon. We'll be looking for his 32nd save. Just 13 walks against 69 strikeouts. And this will be a save opportunity because the potential tying run is in the on-deck circle.
And here's one reason for this move. We'll show you the numbers Overbay has had against Jonathan Papelbon. Much of that worked for Lyle while he was with Toronto, and Papelbon with the Red Sox. First at bat for Overbay in a Braves uniform. He hit .292 this year in 45 games. A couple of homers, 10 RBIs. Braves got him on a minor league deal August 20th.
Well, he's in good shape. A lot trimmer than the last time we saw him. .273 for Gwinnett.
And he takes a strike. work by Loverbay this year came with Arizona. They released him August 3rd. .93-mile-an-hour fastball, strike two.
Right in on his knuckles. And some life. Tailing back to the plate.
Applebaum didn't get the inside corner. 1-2 now.
Right back to the same spot, but just a little more inside. That was a pretty good pitch. Lyle may have caught a break there.
A tight zone all day. Braves happy about it this time with 2 on, 1 out. Top of the order, lurking next in Michael Bourne. He's on deck. Braves need 4 to tie in the 9th. Strike 3 outside corner. Lyle not too sure about that. Was it a strike?
Target was even outside. That pitch never had the plate. Box track shows us that it tailed off the plate. Why did the plate suddenly get bigger?
I was just going to say, the plate, the zone's not so tight. Now the Braves down to their last out. 2 hits for Michael. Both of them singles. He's also stolen a base. He walked in the 5th as well. Now that's a strike.
That's what hitters hate. That's what gets more hitters and managers thrown out of games than anything, is when all of a sudden pitches that were not strikes earlier today become strikes in the 9th inning.
No balls and a strike. 1-1. That gives you hope with 2 outs in the 9th.
He's sitting on 93, 94 tonight. That's about his range, maybe up to 95 with a split finger pitch and a slider. Struck out Hensky to get a save here Friday night on a split. Now that's the way he pitched Overbay too. In, got some calls in there, and then struck him out, as we showed you, on a pitch that was off the plate for a ball Let's see if he goes back out there on Michael.
Another full count. Runners will go with 2 outs.
And with Michael at the plate, and with the runners moving and taking away, perhaps a chance at a force out. Puts that much pressure on the defense to try to make a good play and throw Bourne out because of his speed.
Crowd's been great all night. Hoping Bourne can keep the game alive. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And no time call. Liner foul.
Boy, tough pitch too. Hard and at the knees.
Another 3-2. It's high. Ball 4. Papelbon wants to know where it was. Angel Hernandez on the appeal says no swing, and the tying run comes to the plate with 2 outs.
How many times have pitchers looked in tonight after a called ball? Papelbon wanted to know if this pitch was high, and from that angle, the pitch was just above the belt. Did it have the plate? That was really close, and you can understand why he wanted it. But ball 4, tying run at the plate. Good at bat by Michael Bourne.
As Freddie Gonzalez said, keep the line moving. The Braves have done that in the 9th. This will be a great place for Prado's first hit of the game. He's 0 for 4. Bases loaded. Atlanta down 7-3 with 2 outs.
Good a high fastball hitter as Martin is. He's got to make Papelbon get it down there where he can level off on it.
That evens the count.
Best pitch he's thrown, best fastball. That was 95.
Papelbon has blown 3 saves this year. 2 of those 3 have come on the road. He's got a big 9th inning mess here. And a breaking ball. From 95 to 78 miles an hour on back-to-back pitches.
What a great call. Everything's been hard. And then he drops that beauty in there.
Well, as you know, Prado, Major League Baseball's 2-strike hits leader.
Bourne was behind in the count, I think 0-2 before he walked.
Johnson, Yanish, Bourne aboard for Atlanta. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. And the bottom of the 9th inning. Ground ball toward third. Oh, Franzen's glove, and 2 runs are going to score. They're at second and third with 2 outs, and Chipper's coming up.
Shades of Miguel Cairo in a huge rally the Braves put on the Reds a couple of years ago. It's going to be ruled a base hit, and Papelbon really slowed his motion down on this breaking ball and may have telegraphed it a little bit to Martin. Tying run at second base. He slowed down everything, and I think Martin picked up on it.
If Chipper launches one, this place will go crazy. And I know it's an unconventional strategy. You do have a base open. But that would put the winning run on base. Do you let the superstar beat you? 1 ball, no strikes. Right after him with a 95-mile-an-hour heater.
The only way he can beat you is to hit the ball out of the ballpark, which he's done well over 400 times. But the Phillies have their man out there that they want out there, and it's their best against your best in the clutch. So obviously, based on that last pitch, they're going to work to him.
Swing, high fly ball, belted right center, and the Braves have won it!
Did they give away something tonight?
The Phillies gave away the game.
Holy smokes.
Tom, take it away.
Chipper, I'm wondering, is this another bobblehead night?
I was sitting over there on the bench, and I really didn't think I'd get another opportunity, but, you know, with 2 or 3 hitters left, it started to kind of come around, and I knew if we could throw some good ABs up, I might get another shot.
About 2 hours before this game, you said to the media gathered there, with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, there's nobody else I want at the plate but me. Explain that.
Pretty prophetic, wasn't it? It's just, I don't trust it to anybody else. I want that opportunity in that spot to come up in that situation against one of the best closers in the game, and I got the head out on one today.
You told me a couple of weeks ago that this isn't something that has just come about. Since your career began, since you were put